Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hello, welcome to TFYLP. We are live August 10th. This is Lucas, and I am joined tonight by Jack.
Sup, peoples?
Who's apparently transforming a transformer. Make sure that you do all the ratchets into your
yeah.
mic,
Luckily, he doesn't have any strong, so they're kind of quiet.
I feel attacked.
And Nick.
Hello.
And Christian.
What's up?
So tonight, Christian and I were kind of talking about the Siege series and, where it would fall within our favorite Transformers shows over the years. And so we figured, why don't we go ahead and make that a show as far as, what are our favorite Transformers series? So I guess we didn't really talk about how we're going to do this as far as, if we're going to try to come to some type of a consensus or whatnot, or if we want to just go around and each give a top five and whatnot.
Top 5 all-time Desert Island Transformers shows.
I don't know what desert island means. Oh, the ones that you would take with you to the desert island?
Yeah, never mind.
Right.
Forget it. My references are lost on everyone.
Nick, you're elderly.
I hate you.
And you do.
You old fart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, Nick, do you have a desert island, Transformers? I guess we're starting off strong at the top there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Well, all right. Let's see. Number 5, I'd have to say Beast Machines. Because
Bold.
it gets dragged up
Really?
there only because of its
Beast
connection to
Machines.
Beast Wars.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, how? I've never heard anyone be like, all right, my 5th favorite Transformers show is Beast Machines.
It's still really pretty to
my
look
fifth
at. It still
favorite.
stars my favorite voice cast. And yeah, the story takes a friggin' nosedive when they get to all that techno-organic stuff and the seeds of the future lie buried in the past. But it's great to see, that the great cast that I love from Beast Wars return to action again. Number 4, I would have to say is Transformers Prime. I really enjoyed that one a lot. I liked a lot of the characters and the world building they did there. The horror elements of the zombie stuff that all went on in that series is pretty cool too. And the voice cast is top notch. Especially you get Jeffrey Combs as Ratchet is a big standout for me. He was so damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it was neat to see Peter Cullen back on TV doing Optimus for the first time in a while.
absolutely.
So, number 3.
Well, I was gonna say Transformers Prime. I mean, this is one of the more critically acclaimed shows. I'm sure that it'll be on lots of lists as well.
Damn right.
But yeah, I mean, for the time, I mean, it was, it was somewhat of a departure from the other shows, and it was kind of a, I don't know. I mean, I guess we've gotten a lot of really good shows over the years. So I guess I don't know. It was different, I guess, and different in a good way. A little darker, I guess. Even though it's still a kids show, it's a little bit darker than some of the other shows that came before it as well.
And it was dark without making the dark feel silly or over the top or just grim and gritty for the sake of being grim and gritty.
Right.
I think so much media struggles with that. Oh, it's going to be more adult because it's grim and gritty and dark now. And, like, you know, you look at almost any of the DC Cinematic Universe stuff and it's all laughable.
Well, that's the one. The hard thing nowadays, right, is we can't have villains, number one. It has to be an anti-hero, right? And then number two, everything has to be gritty and realistic and, you know, whatever. And so it's one of those things where it's like they end up telling the story over and over again too many times, I feel like. You know, like I don't know. It's almost like some of the storytelling is almost kind of like by era, you know, like you could tell that the 80s storytelling versus the 90s versus the 2000s and 2010s and, you know, 2020 and whatever. And yeah.
If I had to, so where was I? Number 3?
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Somewhere.
Number 3 is G1, the original, and that's all on the basis of nostalgia and the power of the 86 movie. That's the only reason it's that high up the list. A lot of it's great. A lot of it you can go back and watch, and there's some really solid episodes, but we need to be honest with ourselves. There's some real clunkers in there, especially throughout season 1.
Yeah.
Season 3.
Of all of that 1980s nostalgia stuff, with the possible exception of Thundercats, it remains the most watchable series. Like, I cannot sit through He-Man, you know? It's just not a thing that holds my attention at all anymore.
Oh my god.
But, you know, it's the thing that started it all. The 86 movie is still flawless. And there's a ton of stuff to love there. It defined everything that came after. So it deserves a spot on anybody's top 5, I think. Number 2 is Beast Wars, which may surprise some people if you know me. But number 2 is Beast Wars, and while I love Beast Wars and it is my favorite part of the franchise overall, a lot of that comes from my nostalgic colored glasses, and how it really brought me into collecting. And also the toys are fucking awesome. So they're a big part of it. But in terms of the cartoon itself, I'm going to put it at number 2.
So if Beast Wars is your number 2, what's your number 1? Or do we want to wait? Do we want to hold off and give everybody number 1 at the end?
I'm happy to do it now just to get it out of the way. My number 1 is Transformers Animated.
I'm shocked.
I think Transformers Animated was the perfect Transformers show. I loved everything about it. It was accessible, but it was well written, and they did a good job on an overall story throughout 3 seasons. You know, there was an arc for each season. It wasn't just Monster of the Week stuff. You got to see some real character development. You got fantastic characters on both sides. You know, they introduced new characters. They were instant favorites. Lugnut, Bulkhead. I even love Sari. You know, she's probably the least offensive human in all of the Transformers stuff. And it's Tara Strong, so how could you not love her, you know? The voice cast is, you know, arguably some of the best talent working. The designs were very, very different. But it's animation and it's beautiful. And it's like everybody is just that streamlined design. Very simplistic, but beautiful in motion. And it helped that the toys could look just like the show. It was great.
Yeah, I mean,
incredible.
for its time, like that may be, I mean, one of the best toy lines ever. You know, just because it was screen accurate. Like the figures, they're all like very chunky toys. You know, there's a lot of plastic and all that type of thing. There's a good size and weight to them and whatnot. So yeah, that was great. I don't know, you know, I think it's interesting just in general, like, you know, now that we're adults and are looking through an adult lens of kind of the shows that you're more likely to go back to, you know, now versus, you know, the ones that you loved as a kid. Like, I completely agree with you about G1, where, I mean, for the time, like, we loved all those cartoons.
Sure.
And they're still good. Like you said, like I am exactly the same way about He-Man and some of those other shows where it's like, oh my god, I can't I can't go back to them. I tried watching He-Man. I
Yeah.
think it was on Netflix for a while, and I tried watching it with my kid, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't do this. It's like, I mean, you get through a couple episodes, but it's
Bad.
it's
not-
rough, and I do
not
think
watchable.
it's like where the G1, it was definitely interesting, some of the things that they're doing and some of the boundaries they're pushing for the time, and especially considering that these were just, commercials to get us to buy more toys. They at least told some interesting stories, but I'm with you there that I don't know that I could put it up there or whatever, but I do want to mention too that if you're looking to go back and watch Transformers cartoons, I think the best resource is probably Tubi TV. It's an app that I think it's the most all-encompassing of the Transformers media. Like Netflix, I think has Prime on it. It's a new show. I think it has like a season of RID. I can't remember. Like it has some Cyberverse, but it's very.
I was gonna actually
sporadic.
just look that up now to see what they got. Because I know I did Tubi at one point, but the kind of thing that they did about it was that they were kind of snipping a little bit off the ends, like going from the intro and then the like commercials. It still had a good chunk of story, but it's like it did cut out a little bit. So that's the only thing I really would say about that. But yeah, I was about to look to see what they had.
I had some issues with Tubi, like the episodes not playing completely and some of them not working and whatever. So like if you're actually looking to binge it, like I ended up just buying most of the series, just over the years on DVD and whatnot to watch with my kid. Like, I mean, most of the series, it's not like that they're super long, so you can get a decent deal on most of the cartoons, and it's not horrible. So,
I'm gonna take a moment just to say that if you plan on watching this stuff over and over again, you may want to just go ahead and buy it, because the thing about streaming services and the thing about digital copies is that it's only ever a rental. You never really own a digital copy. At any moment, they could get in a fight with the rights holder, and the content host would have to stop carrying the stuff. And even if you paid for it, it's not really yours. So buy DVDs.
So what I do.
See? Old man. That's right. I'm the old man. Get off my lawn. You're welcome, Christian.
Whatever, man. You just don't understand.
Yeah.
Nah, I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, no, I agree. As annoying as it is to do that, I mean, I don't know, like, especially with kids, like, like when you go on vacations, like, back before all this stuff, just load the iPad up with videos and whatnot. And so it's so easy just to do it from some of the streaming services and whatnot. But I agree with you that you really want that physical media because, you never know when it's going to go away on the streaming service. So if you have a significant collection, it's a little rough. So
Nick, if you take your list farther out, where does Siege end up for you?
It's a runner-up. It's not that far down. My top couple of runners-up would have been Siege. I guess Robots in Disguise, but I still haven't been able to finish it.
Which one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it 2015?
So disappointing.
Does it really?
I just want to kind of interject for a quick minute here. If you really want to do Tubi has G1, Beast Machines, the Unicron trilogy, animated Rescue Bots, and Prime. So if you really want to, there's that. But anyways, you were saying.
I was gonna say too, Christian. I feel like, before we get to your list, like if we had like Peter on or something, this would have been a completely different show because his yeah, exactly. It'd be like headmasters,
Victory and
Car-
Headmasters.
car robots and whatnot.
Okay, if I were Peter, like I'm discount Peter at best, right? So if I had to rank the Japanese shows from what I've seen, it would be
if you could think that far.
Master Force, Beast Wars Neo, Victory, Beast Wars Second, Headmasters. I think that's what Peter would say. Headmasters is
Head on.
I should have asked Peter.
Head out.
It's one of those things too where I've always talked to him about borrowing some of his the dubs and whatnot that he has of the Japanese shows, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So
was it the Australian dub on that stuff?
I'm not sure which ones he has. We always talk every time we are going to go to a convention like TFCon or something like that. I always bring it up beforehand, and then we always forget about it at the show. And
God, yeah. I did the best I could. I've not seen any of the Beast Wars stuff. I've just heard what Peter has said. I have seen bits of Victory, Master Force, and Headmasters. Headmasters is bleh.
Yeah.
Master Force is good, and Victory is okay.
I have a bunch of the Beast Wars stuff on fansub VHS from, I don't know, circa 2000 or so.
On what? What?
Fansub VHS?
What is a VHS?
I know, right? God damn it.
Do you actually have a working VCR?
I do.
There you go.
I don't believe you.
I used to go down to Chinatown every week trying to finish my collection. They'd get new fansub tapes in, and I was trying to put together my full set. Never finished it.
That sounds like
so I haven't watched much of it.
Somebody did a dubbing of Beast Wars Second.
There is on YouTube right now. There are new fan subs that are supposed to be good translations. I have not had a chance to sit through it all, but I really want to. It would be nice if there were an official release of that material somewhere that I could pay someone money for, but they don't seem to want to take my money, so I guess I'll watch it on YouTube instead.
I wonder if those rights are tied up somewhere, because I don't think it's been released anywhere.
Tied up by Hasbro not wanting to take money, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, with one on my list, the rights are tied up with Disney or Saban or something. Right, because that was a joint production there. Yeah, and Disney sold the library back to Saban last year. So
you know what would be really funny? If in the Saban Power Rangers deal somehow Hasbro got car robots back.
I'm thinking that might have happened, but I don't think Hasbro knows it yet. Yes, what I'm talking about is Robots in Disguise 2001, otherwise known as Car Robots in Japan.
Yeah.
One from my list, that's number 5.
Number 5.
There you go.
Robots in Disguise. Probably the only person to have it on the list. I love it. It's so campy. Everyone gets a spotlight episode. The animation's cool. The voice cast is good. It's just funny and fun, and I like it. I didn't like it when I was a kid. I hated it when I was a kid. I was like, ugh, this isn't Transformers. Get away from me. And then I watched it later, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I love it so much.
So what's the best way to watch it?
It used to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
I may have to check that out and see if it's still up there. Because I've never actually seen
officially.
It I wanted to watch it when it was airing. I was in college at the time. It was my first year of college. And I missed the first episode because of September 11th. So... And I never got to watch the series after that. Because I didn't know what happened. I missed an episode. I said, well, I can't start in the middle. And that was why I've never seen Robots in Disguise.
Well, if you sweet talk Duran, he might have digital copies of it. He copied my physical copies. I don't know what he did with them after that.
There are places to watch those things if you were willing to do that.
But it's the origin of like Scourge, who's been like a Nemesis Prime archetype. Origin of Skybite, which is really great. You get cool characters like Sideburn and X-Brawn and Prowl. Those guys are awesome.
I love
Omega
all the
Prime,
toys. Toys are some of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the toys was like a celebration of the brand up until that time because it included a couple new molds and then molds from everything that existed prior.
Yeah.
It was
Pretty much
awesome. Awesome. Loved it.
Yeah.
So
the rest of my list looks...
I was just going to interject that, like, it's such a different world nowadays. Like, Nick, where you're talking about, like, oh, I missed an episode, and so then I never watched it or whatever, right? Yeah. It's like, and I realize this is a little bit of, like showing our age and whatnot, because like my kids don't even understand that. Like they don't even understand like having to be home at a certain, having to go watch it a certain time, sitting through commercials and whatever. Like my kid the other day was annoyed because I think it was, I was watching a basketball game or something, and he's like, Dad, fast forward like through the commercial. And I'm like, no, this is a live event here. You can't do that. And it's like my kid just doesn't even understand. I mean, they just sit there and just like binge like shows for however long, and then they're done and whatever. And it's just not like if they go to want to go watch something, oh hey, what's new on Netflix or wherever, they don't even give it a second thought like we're talking about chasing down VHS copies of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Hey, at least I have RD on DVD. It's definitely a bootleg copy that I had to order from Germany. I definitely have it.
But you have it.
Worry. All right, so number 4. The rest of my list looks very similar to Nick's. It's just different order. Number 4 is Prime for me. Mm-hmm. Then G1 at number 3, like Nick. Then Beast Wars and animated, like Nick. Surprise.
What?
There you
go. Siege ends up at number 8 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Which seems like it's in the middle, like exactly in the middle of all the shows we've gotten here. We've got a lot of bad shows.
Yeah, the entire Unicron trilogy.
Actually, I have a Unicron trilogy installment higher than Siege. Just Cybertron. I like Cybertron.
How about that Cyberverse? Has anyone sat through that? I haven't
tried to start it 3 times and have not been able to do it, so it just goes in the bad list for me.
People tell me that season 2 is better. Like I felt like it was the same thing with RID, which the show completely changed up like in season 2, that RID 2015. But like I don't know, it's like I don't want to have to sit through a whole season just to, I don't know. I've tried to sit down and watch it. I tried to sit down and watch it with my kid, and I just we can't. We have not been able to make it through.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like it would have all of the things that I want to like. I mean, it looks like it's got a pretty diverse cast of characters. They got Cheetor in there for Christ's sakes, and they got a Skybite in there at some point. Repugnus. Guys you don't see all the time. So like, I want to like the show.
But the 11-minute format really kills it for me.
Huh. See, now, I love the 11-minute board-driven stuff that's on Cartoon Network right now for the most part. I love a lot of that stuff. No, you don't know.
It's not for me.
Adventure Time, Steven Universe. These are great shows, and they are that 11-minute board-driven format. So I don't know if this is 11 minutes because it has to be time-slotted in with that kind of stuff, and it's not really the same, like they're forcing something that is not that format to be that format, and maybe that's why it doesn't work. I guess I'm going to sit through some of it and figure it out.
Most of those shows that are 11 minutes, was going to say, like, they're in a 22-minute or whatever, 30-minute block, so they always run back-to-back. So I don't know if that just like allows more commercials or what the reason that they just do each one 11 minutes. I don't know. Maybe it works better on you, like when they put it up online, maybe. I don't know.
It could have something to do with online, or it could have something to do with how they regroup the episodes, because I know they'll just, when they air Steven Universe blocks, it'll be 4 random episodes all slapped together, not necessarily the same 2 all the time. Or it could just have something to do with what they focus grouped out of short attention span and decided, well, that's what the focus group said. So 11 minutes, that's what we're doing. Who knows?
Cyberverse also lost me for Bumblebee having the most annoying version of not talking.
Oh, no. He doesn't talk again?
Yep.
He talks in his memories. Because he lost his memories, and that's the whole premise of the show. So he talks when he's inside his own head, and that's fine. But when he's out, it's like a way more annoying version of the movie one where he talks in radio quotes, except it's clearly not, actual radio stuff. It's just someone recording nonsense. So someone had to write the nonsense, and then someone had to dub that nonsense, and then that's what's in the show. Like in the movies, it's kind of cute because it's like, oh, it's popular segments of songs and stuff we know. Okay, got it, cool. Mm-hmm. That could plausibly exist. The Cyberverse one's like, no, that can't plausibly exist. Sorry.
Yeah, so Zaldrin says the optimal watch time for YouTube is 10 to 15 minutes. So obviously we never hit that here.
Hell no.
Show.
There you go.
That's
We're
a warm up.
about it next week. It's all going to be 10-minute clips.
Yeah, there you go.
You know how fast we have to talk in a 10-minute segment to get all of our thoughts in?
No, like Nick said, just chop it up. Just chop it up in the middle of a...
Yeah. And then it's like to be continued. Just release. Oh, man.
Okay,
we should do a show this way. We could do a pre-record, right? And then I'll chop up the pre-record and release everything on the feeds 10 minutes a day.
It's like
that's next week's Cut the Tape.
Tune in tomorrow to finish Christian's sentence.
It's like an episode
what was he saying?
It's like an episode of The Sopranos. It just cuts off at the end and pick up everything else next week.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I lost that part of the episode. Sorry, guys. So, originally when we started Microcasters, that was kind of the idea that we're like, oh, we're going to do like 15 minutes. And we've never been able to get to that. Like, even the ones where, we're like, no, we got to get to 30, and somehow we always do 45 or, whatever on that. So it's, yeah. So,
yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't even have Proto Man on there, but yeah, we need Don, right, and Rick and Proto Man and all that. Then we can have like a 3-hour long episode.
Show.
Oh man. Yep. We all like to talk.
Who's got the next list, and how different is it from mine and Nick's?
I'm gonna blow some minds.
There we go.
Number 5 for me was G1, mainly because of the movie. There was a good chunk of episodes I liked. There was a good chunk of episodes I just was like, what the hell is this? So yeah, that was number 5. Number 4 is the main thing that's going to blow some minds, mainly because this is where I got my start. Number 4 for me was the Unicron trilogy.
Which one?
Yeah, just the whole thing? Or?
Just the whole trilogy. I said screw it. Number 3 was animated, because at first I didn't like it all that much, but going back to it, I was like, damn, why did I not like this? How am I not sane? Number 2 is Beast Wars.
Fuck yeah.
Because, I mean, it's Beast Wars. Do I have to explain it? And then number 1, my without a doubt favorite is Prime.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
Without a doubt. So, I just love Prime.
How did you feel about the 3rd season there? Predacons Rising stuff.
It was a mixed bag. I mean,
yeah.
I got through it and I was like, okay, fine for me.
Yeah.
So. But yeah.
Parts of the show were stronger before that. That's all.
Seasons 1 and 2 definitely were.
Are we doing spoilers for a 10-year-old show?
It's 10 years old, yes!
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of fair game, dude.
Okay, cool.
Why?
I was ready for Smokescreen Prime. Like, I know he kind of came out of nowhere, and then that was like, kind of shoved in there. But I was like ready for it.
To be honest, yeah.
Like, Optimus is dying. This dude's been appointed by Alpha Trion to like be one of the 5 whatever MacGuffins they were looking for that time. I don't remember their name anymore. And Optimus was like, "Yeah, Smokescreen, you got to take it." Smokescreen was like, "Yeah, maybe though." And then he used his power to save Optimus instead. It's like, oh, yay, Optimus! Of course I love Optimus.
Oh no.
No.
Look at that screen name.
Well, what? Do you have a special guest here?
Oh, where'd you go?
No, maybe not.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, there he is.
Christian, I'm having people crash the show if he can actually get on.
I see that. They cut me off.
I'm sorry, Christian. My bad.
That's okay. Smokescreen Prime. It needed to happen.
I'll tell you, it would have been different.
I'm ready for different. I mean, we have Optimus all the time. I'm ready for something different.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what. Don, are you on? Maybe?
Come on.
Is it working?
Skype work.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
We can hear you. Can't see you, but we can hear you, so. Can you hear us?
Am I here?
You're live on the show right now,
There he
yeah.
is.
All right. I'm live and not Memorex. Awesome.
Glad someone got that reference. It wasn't me.
You see, I'm not the only old man here.
All right.
Hi,
Awesome.
Don.
So Don, it's been a
Hi.
while.
Yeah.
How's everything going?
Okay, I'm hearing feedback. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to take this moment to grab myself another beer. I'll be right back, too.
Sounds good. So we weren't having any show issues, and so obviously we said, you know what, let's throw Don in the
Why
mix.
not?
Lucas introducing rogue elements into live broadcast.
What would be
That's
the
how we
first?
roll.
There we go. There we go. That's better.
That sounds a little better.
Excellent. So how have y'all guys been doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Hey, okay.
So tonight's show, Don, we're talking about our favorite Transformers shows of all time. So what's your list? What's your favorites?
Okay, well, this is good. Now this is not going to be. I'm going to try to put it in kind of order, but again, I just didn't expect to come on tonight. Top what? 5? Top 10? What?
Top 5-ish.
You're
Top
doing
5.
fives.
Maybe some runners-up if you want.
Okay, right. Okay, alrighty. Doing this from memory, I'm gonna say I'm gonna give 6 as an honorable mention to Cybertron.
Yes.
Okay.
It basically finally pulled everything together and gave us a good Transformer series out of the Unicron trilogy. Armada was not fun. Energon was negative fun. I mean, I enjoyed the couple of issues of Dreamwave Energon comic a lot more than I would.
Sure. It was great.
But I'll give number 6 to Cybertron because it actually finally gave us a pretty solid show. Number 5, I'll go with Animated.
All right.
I really like Animated, and the reason it's so low is just because it was so good, but watching it, trying to catch the episodes on Cartoon Network was like trying to buy a Back to the Future Transformer. You couldn't find it.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah,
And yet Hasbro keeps putting more stuff on Cartoon Network, though.
yeah, it's sort of like eBay. There's really nothing better right now. So it's kind of like, we know it kind of sucks, but it's the best we got. It's like that poster in Futurama You gotta do
what you gotta do.
Yeah, there's that. So I'll say number 5 is animated. Yeah. Number 4. No, this is Mo. Not Jesse. I would say number 4 would be toss-up.
Okay.
I'm going to say number 4 is going to be Prime. Because Prime had a lot of what Beast Wars had. Smaller cast, better character focus, and it was just a really good mix of characters. You had your Bumblebee, you had your Optimus. That was the first Ratchet we had got, other than maybe animated. That was that kind of Ratchet, which was nice for a change of pace. Bulkhead was completely new, other than, again, from animated, but this was a very different Bulkhead. Solid human cast. I think that's one thing that I really like about Prime is that
Don, did we lose Don?
Don, did we lose you?
He was hoping his mic didn't go out.
Well, I agree. Prime did have a solid human cast once they toned down Miko for the second season.
Yeah.
I liked Fowler a lot, too. He was cool.
Yes. Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson, man.
Yes.
Oh, that was cool. I liked Jack's mom. Oh. She was nice.
Hey.
Do we lose Don?
Yeah,
Bye,
Jack's
Don.
mom is nice. We'll never find out what his top show was.
Oh.
Now he's back.
Yeah, right?
Muted.
And my number 1 is...
Okay, all right, how's that? Am I back?
Okay,
yeah,
we're back.
There we go.
All right, what's the last thing y'all heard? Prime?
Transformers Prime. Number 3.
Yeah.
Prime. Yeah, Prime. I think Prime. Number 3, Master Force.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Master Force, as much as I love Rebirth, I think Master Force covered the Headmaster and Power Masters, although they did it in their own style. Because if you watch Chris McFeely's Basics on Headmaster,
yeah,
he talks about the different from Rebirth. That's where everything branches off, U.S. versus Japanese continuity. And as much as I love the Rebirth, I will die on the hill saying Rebirth is one of my favorite episodes. But Master Force, I think, really got the concept of Power Masters, Headmasters, all that. You had great animation that was used a lot, but
oh no!
What? Tune in next time.
I love how
here's your 10-minute segments.
Yeah, I love how he's cutting off he's like, but, and then it's like he's
leaves you in suspense. It's the cliffhangers. It's the best form of writing.
He's leaving cliffhangers as he's cutting out from Skype. Oh, wow. Well,
Master Force, though, it seems like maybe I was right.
Oh, hey.
Sorry, guys. It's
oh, you're good.
You keep leaving on cliffhangers, Don.
I'm sorry. So, what was I at? 3 or 2?
You're on 2 now.
I'm on 2. Beast Wars.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Again,
That's
like
me.
animated, small cast of characters, better character focus. I was never really I was never on that. Oh gosh, they're beasts. But again, being older than a lot of people in the fandom at the time, I was like, they gotta keep this stuff alive somehow. And as much as I love G2, God, I love G2 so much, it didn't do the job. There was some phenomenal figures. Dreadwing is still an incredible figure to this day. But G2 did not revitalize the brand, and they needed something different. If it hadn't been for Beast Wars, there's no telling what the Transformers franchise will look like right now. So I would say Beast Wars solidly, especially when you get to the end of season 2 and you get to the agenda and you see how it all wraps in together. Yeah. I've praised Ben Yee before on whatever he did as a story consultant to get and he's always said it was a group. It wasn't really him doing it, but I have to think Ben showing them how they could wrap up the Ark and Earth and the Decepticons and everything. That is just when Black Rat says that JoJo is the Ark, and I'm oh my God, they did it. I kind of thought in the back of my head maybe, but then you see the Ark and just Beast Wars is number 2. Number 1, Generation 1. And I'm not saying that as a G1er. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying everything is built on that. I mean, you can't... It may not hold up now versus if you went back and watched Prime or you watched Animated. I understand that. And yes, there was some goofy as hell episodes. The Girl Who Loved Power Glide.
Oh, I love that episode. I don't care what anybody says.
I like that. The goofy one for me is Sea Spray and Mermaid.
Oh,
yeah, that one.
God, I hate Bot. Megatron's Master Plan would have been a much better way to end season 2.
Yeah.
But you got some episodes that still stick with us. My favorites. The God Gambit. One of my favorites. You've got Call of the Primitives.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
You've got The Gambler, which is about, I love that with Smokescreen. Then you've got, of course, the introduction of the Dinobots. You've got War Dawn.
War Dawn, there it is.
Yeah. Secret of Mega Supreme is good. So, I mean, there's a lot of really great stuff in Season 2.
Search for Alpha Trion.
Search for Alpha Trion. I mean, Starscream's Brigade and Revenge of Bruticus. That's... Starscream finally makes his power play. We get Combaticons. And Starscream's ass gets stuck on a rock. I mean, it's perfect. But I think you have to give G1 the number 1 spot, not for story, but for giving us the foundation of everything that came after that. Yeah, so
that's fair.
So that's my top 5 with an honorable mention to Cybertron at 6.
Don, have you seen Siege yet?
Yes, I have.
So the impetus for this show is that Luke's and I had been discussing, where does Siege fall in our own personal ranking. So where does Siege fall for you?
Like everyone else, it's better than Machinima, but that's not a real high bar to jump. I just watched Thew's review. Thew did a review of it.
Uh-huh.
He sums it up. It's fine. It's
Pretty
fine.
much.
It's fine. There was some, like, what happened with Ultra Magnus was like, okay, I can get kind of where that was going. But it's, again, thank you, Thew, for summing up my thoughts personally. It's fine.
Yep. I feel like that's kind of the way all of us feel. Have you read any of the newer comics, Don?
I dropped IDW when All Hell Megatron came out because I was really enjoying what Furman was doing with the Headmasters and Sunstreaker and Hunter and all that. And then it was taken in a great big ball, set on fire, and then thrown in the ocean. So I said, I'm done. So all I had...
Oh, did he drop out again?
Oh,
I was curious. I didn't know if he had gotten back on, since they rebooted everything. The one thing that I'll say in general about Siege is I feel like it's better than the new comics. Now, I can't say all the new comics. I'm just saying the new Transformers series. I think Galaxies, has been okay, and some of the spin-offs and whatnot. But the main comic just is not
That
grabbing
Jumper
me.
2-parter for Galaxies was pretty good. I'm looking forward to the Magnus one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Don, I didn't know if you had jumped back on since they kind of rebooted things with the comics recently, like a year ago.
Rob Clay on RFC was doing some reviews of those for the show, and he was saying that it was so slow to get anywhere.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, great. I'm watching the comic version of Akito, where it takes 30 episodes to learn something about what's going on. It's watching Beast Machines, where it took 9 episodes for anything to give us a clue what the hell is going on. I don't need that. I like a slow burn. I don't like it sitting on the stove, not turned on, and someone remembers 9 inches down the road. Oh, wait! We have a plot! Turn up the plot flame! No.
That's the fantastic analogy.
I've heard some people say that if you get the hardcover edition of it and read through that, it's better because you're doing it all in one sitting, so you don't realize like how slow a burn it is. But it was really slow. Like if you're picking it up month by month, like whew.
Don't do it. Lucas, I think that leaves us with your list.
Yeah, so I think my list is pretty much going to be the same as your guys's. The only different one I'm going to say at number 5. I was sitting there trying to rack my brain at number 5, and can I put the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron video game cutscenes as
that's
my
so
number
cheating.
5?
That's definitely cheating.
Because someone took all the cutscenes and put it up on YouTube. So I mean,
That's not a show, though.
That's not a show.
Well,
it's not a show, but
understand
damn it, the
this.
story is better. The story of that's
a
better than
video-
half of the
Hey.
shows we've gotten.
You may
We
as
talked
well. You
about
may as
it.
well say the first 5 minutes of Bumblebee then.
Okay, sure.
We talked
Add that in.
about the video games earlier, so I don't think we need to.
yeah. Well, Lucas, one thing you were saying about getting the trade paperback, that's kind of what I said about the Machinima series, because we had talked about this on RFC about, okay, we're watching it in pieces, but if they made it all at one time and they're cutting it up, then you're really not getting the flow of the story that you should be getting. So I was saying, wait until it's all done, watch it as a whole thing, and see, even that. The problem is that didn't help. It still sucked. Machinima series still sucked. Even if you watch it all together, or if you watch it individually, there was no flow. It was just kind of lumpy oatmeal. You pour it, and it just drips and drips and drips and drips. Don't even get raisins in your oatmeal. It's like it's even worse. It's cream of wheat. It's like, ugh. Yeah, but Machinima series is cream of wheat. Siege, decent house brand oatmeal with some raisins in it.
Man, that Machinima stuff made Energon look like a masterpiece. I
Pretty
really
much.
didn't think they could make it worse than Energon, and they shouldn't have been able to make it worse, 15 years
I
on.
will say one thing about the Machinima series. I never want to see Overlord like that again, but I'm glad we got to play at least one time. Just it looks like it's really not Overlord. It's Quick Strike in an Overlord suit, and it's really Quick Strike's in there doing his whole Texas kind of. Yeehaw.
But you're right, he existed, and that counts for something.
But yeah, I will say one show that will never go on my list is Beast Machines.
Can you imagine someone picking Beast Machines? God.
Yeah, who would do
everything
that?
else.
Who would do that?
Well, I'm just saying it's Beast Machines is kind of like what if I'm a Digimon fan. and I really enjoyed Adventures 01. Big enjoyed the season. Then we got to 02. 02 was so bad, it retroactively made me not want to wish I had watched season 1 because of the epilogue. The epilogue in 02 absolutely pissed me off, pissing me off to this day. I want to find every copy and burn it like the Star Wars Christmas special. That made me go back and the ending of 02 made me go back and wish I had not watched 01.
The ending of 02 is incredible. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Beast Machines felt I was never one of the haters. I was like, okay, I see they're trying to do something darker, a little more mature. But to me, it was character assassination on the way these characters were in Beast Wars.
You know who we have to blame for why Beast Machines was so far off the mark, right?
Probably editorial. Hasbro editorial.
Dan DiDio. The same guy who wrecked DC Comics.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not going to put Beast Machines on there because of what it did to establish characters in Beast Wars. The prime example, Rat Trap would not go to Megatron or a power suit because he can't transform.
Yeah, that is bothersome.
That's very bothersome. So yeah, I mean, Energon, Armada, Beast Machines, those will never be on my list. I'm going to fudge. If I can give another honorary spot, Robots in Disguise 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Don.
Yep, I need to. I didn't even think about that until I looked over and saw my Fire Convoy. Yeah, it was goofy, but it was a lot of fun, and we got Skybite with Peter Spellows. So that's always fun.
Yeah. That was my number 5.
Yeah. So that's my. I mean, and it may vary. My list may vary from time to time based on what It's just G1 is important to me because of all the solid episodes and the backstory.
Yeah.
Prime is important because it feels. That's why I feel the 2015 Robots in Disguise was not really. It was a Prime sequel in thought only until they said, "Oh wait, this is supposed to be a sequel to Prime. Here's a bunch of Prime locations." No, that's not the way it worked. That's not.
I had no idea that they even were trying to tie it into Prime.
Well, it's the same Bumblebee.
It's the same universe.
Yeah,
But
same
it's like
universe.
broad strokes. Like they never really reference much.
Like, exactly.
Like I don't think they even ever mention Jack, Raph, and Miko ever again, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So.
Not even in that short comic they did at IDW. I thought that was kind of okay.
Because everyone's saying, "Oh, it's set so far in the future." You have a kid living in a junkyard with his father. No one has any kind of special technology. There's no virtual phones. You don't have, the technology has not advanced that much. Yeah. So we're talking maybe 10 years tops.
I thought that's what I remember it being. It was 10 years after.
So you have no Agent Fowler, who would still be around. You don't have the kids, who already got shafted in Predacon's Rising movie, or they're not even mentioned.
Yep.
And I'm just saying, if you're going to, because they brought Soundwave back, and they brought Starscream back, and they were Prime Soundwave and Prime Starscream.
Right.
But it's like, if you squint and turn your head and look through this Eclipse viewer, it's kind of a sequel. No, do it as a sequel or do it as a standalone. Don't do it half-ass measures. But there is one thing I was going to say. I'm not trying to hijack the show. But I love Prime.
Yeah.
The other day I was wishing, though, what if The Rock had stayed on as Cliffjumper throughout the show?
Right, if he'd had more to do.
How much different would the show have been if he, or at least someone, I posted this on Twitter and someone had replied, and I wish I could give credit to who it was. They said, at least keep Cliffjumper alive until Megatron returns. And then Megatron's the one that kills him to show, like, this is Frank Walker Megatron. He's going to kill him.
He ain't screwing around.
Yeah, he ain't screwing around. So,
At least that.
yeah, so I would have loved, but probably even at scale, The Rock probably didn't have the time to do it on a regular basis, or they just afford him. Other than that, but I would have loved to have seen Cliff Jumper in it a little bit longer than what he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like one of those big build-ups that you get. You're like, oh, The Rock is going to be in the show and whatnot. And then it's like very first episode. Come on.
For 10 minutes.
But he got one hell of a toy.
Mm-hmm.
That first edition Cliff Jumper is an absolute marvel of a toy.
Okay.
Even the Robots in Disguise, even the second
Yeah, they were
version,
both pretty good.
it's
I
not
like
bad.
both.
But that first edition Cliff Jumper, I have it and I have the Purple Zombie version from Japan.
Hell yeah.
They are just, I call him Great Charger. So I'm sorry. I'm very tired. It's been a very long day, so I'm a little hyper right now. Who hasn't gone? I didn't mean to talk so much.
Well, Don, no, I appreciate you dropping in. It's been a lot of fun to get your perspective as well, too, because a lot of our lists have kind of been similar. I think it kind of seems like there's been somewhat of a consensus of a top 4, top 5, or whatever that's going to include Prime and animated Beast Wars and G1 in there. So
Right.
I think I'm, like you, Don, where I think the piece of media that I've watched the most has been the Transformers movie, the 86 movie. And so, I mean, I think that I have to give that as my top spot just because of that. Like, I think that the other series are a lot more watchable. Like, if I'm wanting to just sit down and blow through a whole series, I'm probably going to pick up, Beast Wars or Prime or animated. But, that G1 movie is just such a nostalgia trip. And, I mean, it was so well done, especially at the time and whatnot. And some of the choices that they made, I think that the difference, too, is for kids, like, we all were, just distraught from, all the things that happened in the movie. But as an adult, like, it's great. It's like fantastic kind of going back and, some of the tropes and the music and the production values and all that of the movie is great. So I think that's where because like Don, I agree with you that it's kind of like the base of Transformers is G1. So even though at this point I probably, would prefer to sit down and watch a different series, that some of the moments they had in it were just fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. It's the movie. I would have to keep it off separate because it's kind of its own thing. It is the bridge between season 2 and season 3, barring that 20-year jump or so that they had in there. But the movie is so being the movie. It's not really a part. To me, it's not part of the series. It was made as the bridge to go into what would be season 3 post Unicron, but it doesn't feel like it's part of season 2 at all. I mean, I'm just saying it's there as the bridge, and that's where your hard, fast dividing line. Where some people say, well, G1 stops at the end of season 2. Other people say no, it includes season 3 and season 4. I mean, I've met both through my years, but
they're entitled to their wrong opinion.
Yeah, but there's people out that don't like Rebirth. I mean, just imagine that. But I love the movie, and I totally agree why you see that, Lucas. But I can't really count the movie as part of a top 5 thing because it's its own little ball of something, and it needs to be
trying to cheat again. That's what
apparently all of my answers are wrong. So I tried to do cutscenes.
Follow the rules.
Hey, I make my own rules, pal.
I guess that's right. You're in charge. You can do whatever you want.
So
this is in charge. I am now.
I guess it's interesting that we're all kind of similar with our top 1 through 4. Like Lucas said, it's animated, Beast Wars, G1, and Prime.
I am honestly surprised that there's so much love for animated here. Well, usually when I talk to Transformers folks, they don't care for animated, and I'm excited that so many of us here do.
Really? Who are these people?
For animated?
Are they G1ers?
I think the problem with animated to a lot of people is the style. But again, I would have never thought they could have made toys that looked like that show.
Yeah.
The toys look like the show, just like Prime. Prime is extremely toy accurate. But animated was such a visual shift. I really think a lot of people couldn't get past the visuals of the show to give the story is where it really shines. And but the problem is also we don't have that much good media. I mean that's why these top 5s are looking so similar. And again, I'm not stepping on my toes, but Beast Machines, Energon, Armada, that early stuff they did online episodes about 5-10 years ago, the small little stories they were doing online. I think it's part of Universe or something like they were doing really bad mid-2000s CGI little episodes online, if you could count that.
Las I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it was
from the movie stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe, but it was.
Did those Revenge of the Fallen?
Yeah, I was almost like it was like a late Universe, early movie kind of thing where they were doing little short things.
Oh, dude, I remember what that is.
Yeah, something like that.
It's part of Universe 2, focused on like a rabbit.
Yeah,
and they had the animation in the background.
There's so much great Transformers media, but how much of it is print, and how much of it is good visual good like animated media? There's just not that much.
No.
I mean, we've only had one good movie.
Making the list.
Well, I will say I haven't, believe it or not, I have not seen Bumblebee. I just have not got around to seeing it because I was so.
I just watched it last night.
I did enjoy 07. I really enjoyed 07 and had high hopes.
And then we were fighting our Devastator's balls.
The Bumblebee movie is pretty good, Don. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch.
Bumblebee's worth your time. It's absolutely worth sitting through at least once. It wasn't.
I'm sure Nick was talking about
bad,
right?
That's right. That's what I was talking about. Bumblebee is worth your time. It's worth sitting through. It could have been a lot better if they didn't try to tie it to the previous 5 movies. If they had let it stand on its own, it would have been much better. It's that sort of and look, it still connects with all that Bay stuff that we kind of want you to forget about. What we don't want you to forget about, but we do. But make up your mind, pick the thing, and go with it.
They didn't pick a thing, and they kind of made it both.
Right.
But if they wanted to make a sequel to it and firmly disconnect it, they totally could. It wouldn't be. Yeah. It wouldn't be a big deal.
It did not suffer from as many of the problems that the previous 5 films did.
Oh, we lost Don again. And he's back.
If I get dropped again, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and stay offline.
No, you're fine.
I guess there's a deer out there peeing on the line somewhere. Many years ago, driving home, there's a tobacco field that they were letting go fallow one year. Mm-hmm. I was driving home at 1 o'clock from work. There were 39 deer in that one field. I just stopped with my headlights and I counted deer. I counted 39 deer. So, yeah, we have a lot of deer in the area. But anyway, like I was saying, there's a lot of good Transformers print media. But there's not that much good animated media. Mm-mm. And that's why you're seeing these top 5 lists be so similar, is none of us, I don't think, are going to give Energon, Armada, Beast Machines. We're not going to give those a top 5s because they have issues.
Don, Nick put Beast Machines on his top 5.
I did.
And it's number 6 for me, man, so.
The hell? Did Massey come and give y'all a Massey attack when I wasn't looking to knock you sense?
Yes.
Oh, man, Beast Machines is great.
Okay,
Machines-
you get a Supreme
Beast
Cheetor,
is passable,
and you get a Supreme Cheetor, and they may or may not explode. I haven't decided yet.
I love
Man,
my Supreme
if I find any
Cheetor.
more Supreme Cheetor, I will send them your way. Don't you worry.
You send me a Supreme Cheetor, I'll send you all the KISS player media I can find.
Hey,
Cool,
yeah,
I'm looking for that.
players on
So if
everybody's
you got
list.
one, send it my way.
Oh, thank God, that's not a cartoon. I actually have to talk about it in this episode.
Ooh, that's right. We did dodge a bullet on that one. Think of the webisodes they could have made out of that.
Ugh.
Okay,
Okay.
so
At least there wasn't any motion comics made from the manga.
Yeah.
Thank
Oof.
fuck.
How's that
Bullet
for
dodge.
y'all's thought for the night?
Catherine has somewhat of a controversial top 5. So number
boy.
5, Prime, then the Machinima series, then Netflix, then number 2 is G1, and then number 1's the
Specifically
86
season
movie.
3. Specifically,
86
G1.
movie.
Oh,
It's not a
season
show?
only
Okay.
season 3. So before the
Oh.
movie apparently doesn't exist. So
That's
Bold move,
wild
Gut.
list,
Let's see if it
Catherine.
pays off.
I'm sorry. You just started speaking in tongues because apparently
What?
you've got the machinima. Okay, if you like it, I am not going to be that person. If you like it, awesome. I don't know how, but if you do, that's awesome. Go for it. Be
That's
a
how
I've
hard-
got
smart.
an interesting question.
Go for it.
That's how hard we are
Catherine.
up for G1 cartoons. Is that the Machinima series? You're like, well,
Catherine, are you a relatively new fan, or have you been in it, kind of as long as us old fogies? That's what I would like to know.
I mean, I don't want to get off as like gatekeeping here. I'm sorry. It's just I would have never thought Beast Machines for one, and then the Machinima series in the top 5. I just
You know what?
I'm sorry. It's just
Well, I only put Beast Machines in my top 5 because I ran out of stuff after number 4, and it is ties enough to Beast Wars that it still means something to me. There's still something there, you know.
I can see that you're wrong, but
Sure, and I'm willing to concede. Okay, this might be Crazy Nick, and that's cool. I want to know why Catherine likes Machinima and why it's her number 4 over Prime.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what that is.
It's definitely an interesting opinion. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more of that.
yeah. Catherine says she's been here the whole time. So
Yeah.
so
Okay.
Oh, she's a Vorlon. She's always been here. We're in trouble.
You did.
I don't know. I mean, some of the themes of the Machinima series were cool. Like, I'll give them that. It's just that some of the production and the way that they did it could have been better.
I mean, it needed a lot more money. Just
I think it's fair.
the voice direction needed Sue Blue. God, they needed Sue Blue on that voice direction.
They needed somebody with that level of experience, whether it was Sue Blue or Andrea Romano or somebody of that caliber.
Yeah, so
I'd say that for Siege too, as well.
Oh, absolutely.
That's kind of where
Needed better
let
direction on
it down.
Siege.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, use a Ouija board and get in touch with Wally Burr. Thank you. It's like, Mr. Burr, can you tell me, like, I'm sure, I can't say this. I can't read the Rabai and mix company in public, But I mean,
it seemed like the talent in Siege was there, just the direction to form that talent into a cohesive whole just wasn't.
That's the one, other than the animation looking like, I think it might have been Vangelis, if I'm getting the credit wrong, I don't know. But someone, I think Vangelis said it looked like a PS2 cutscene. And so that kind of what it's, it needed a better frame rate. I think if you could have gotten a better voice director to really pull it, especially for Siege, because like what Hugh said in his review, everybody talks like this with dramatic pauses and dark.
Yeah, it did feel kind of like William Shatner was doing some of the voice directing.
If you're modeling your entire speech patterns on Bill Shatner, that might be a problem.
I do think Siege had a lot of good story elements. I could
Some of
see
the
why
wings.
people like it.
So
You know what? It's wound up on
Wings.
8 for me, which that's top 10. But a lot of the story elements were good. There was some talent there that needs to be refined. It was a good reimagining of, like Anna said when we were talking about it 2 weeks ago. It's a good reimagining of the first 10 minutes of G1.
So Catherine said on Machinima that it was embracing some of the IDW ideas, and it used the G1 characters that she loved, and the story was weak, but so was G1, and we got sassy Megatron. So
all right, okay.
Okay. I can't forgive him for doing my boy Computron so dirty.
I haven't finished the Machinima stuff. So
I haven't even started it.
Well,
I got a question. Bringing this all back to the original point, Siege. So what kept Siege off of everybody's top 5? Why not Siege?
I mean, I think, again, like what we talked about, like some of the voice stuff. I mean, I don't think that the story wasn't too bad. The visuals were good. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's also hard to say because it's the first part of the trilogy, and so once we see the second and third parts, like it may rank higher, because like overall cohesiveness, like it may be better. Like I think, again, as Stu said and everyone has said, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not bad. Like it held my attention and all that. It just it wasn't something where you see it. And I don't know. I'm not even sure if there's something that could debut now to where it would really get the fandom behind it. I mean, I feel like every fandom, whether it's Transformers or Star Wars or whatever the heck it might be, everyone seems like they're hating on everything. But it was fine. It was good and bad. I don't know. Is there something like you think?
That was where I was going with this question exactly. It was, there's not enough of it yet. It's 6 episodes. So everything else, you get, 13 episodes, 26 episodes, 3 seasons, whatever, and they get to have a place on this list. Animated was 3 seasons. Prime was 3 seasons. G1, 3 seasons. They all made top spots in the Beast Wars, 3 seasons. So everybody there got top 4 spots on the list because they're 3 seasons of material to judge on. So you have room for good and bad and mediocre.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
Whereas with Siege, 6 episodes. How do you judge that?
It's a little bit unfair to put it up to stuff of this caliber.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, the one thing I'm going to say counter to that, Nick, and I'm not to be a hard ass. Yes, those shows had greater seasons. I mean, more material to judge.
Sure.
But those were also several years ago. Storytelling concept in shorter run seasons has become more of a thing now, like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. That was
but
so I'm saying
She-Ra even gets 5 seasons, even though they're short seasons.
Right. But I'm saying though, writing for these short seasons, 6 episodes, is a thing now. You have to be punchy. You have to get your point across because you have less time in your overall run.
Okay, so then
I think it could have been. I think the writing could have been stronger, and they could have come out of the gate swinging a little bit better, because the current environment is less episodes, better per episode because you don't have the time for filler.
So then, would it be more fair to compare this to something with a similar format, like the first season of She-Ra or the first season of Voltron, or I don't know, maybe a season of Infinity Train or something like that? Should we be comparing it to that instead of other Transformers series?
Well, see, this is the problem that you get into, is that I do agree you're right. other shows with shorter run times would be a more fair comparison.
Mhm.
Transformers also has more history to draw on, so you really shouldn't.
She-Ra has comparable history. Voltron definitely has comparable
Yeah.
history.
But,
Voltron had Voltron in the Third Dimension. You know, that short-lived with the hip hop theme song that I can't remember now. Voltron. Before the reboot, and then there was the Netflix one.
Yeah,
there's plenty of Voltron to draw from out there.
Oh, that's very true. That's true. I'm just saying though. I think, and this is me personally, I think they had the depth of the Transformers knowledge there as far as history. They have seen how other shows like She-Ra went out swinging from the first episode to give you character growth, character development, background, plot settings. You had a living, breathing world from the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And the characters didn't feel like, in Siege, they didn't feel like they were... It felt like they were all first pass draft to me. There was no depth. There was no emotion. You know what Prime should be sounding like at this point. You can understand that he's not... I am, again, I'm pulling from Theo's review, but he summed it up beautifully. This is not, I am Optimus Prime. He's not that Prime yet.
Right.
But his voice just...
Well, directorial problems aside, because there are definitely some directorial problems here with the voice acting and with the pacing of things and whatnot. I mean, if you're going to look at those other shows, I think they all blow this series out of the water. Yeah. And I wonder how much of that is because it's paced like an older, longer format, more story-driven show when it needs to be paced like we got 6 episodes on Netflix. Let's go. Let's do the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And this is I'm going to have to go. But like I'm just going back to She-Ra because it's the best known recent reboot attempt. I'm using that. Look at the first 6 episodes of She-Ra.
Yeah.
And see, like I said, the world building, the character interactions, the writing, the visuals. Yes, it's a very different setting than Transformers.
Sure.
But the energy that you get from She-Ra is not in Siege. And it should be, yes, it's the end of the war. Yes, things are looking bad. But everybody is just there.
Mm-hmm.
And alternatively, you could have had the new Thundercats reboot.
Why do you say this to me when you know I will kill you for it?
Well, I'm saying that, it's kind of like we end up picking out, She-Ra or Voltron or, some of those where, they've made some fantastic shows. And I don't know, like a couple of things. One, I wonder if the weight of our expectations is so much and it has to slot a certain way, like for some of the Transformers, it has to be a certain way for us to enjoy it. And we want it to be so good. Whereas like, I just wonder on some of these, like, okay, like She-Ra is not really pushing, I think they had toys, right? Like, I'm assuming they had...
No, they had no goddamn toys!
How do they have no toys?
Oh, wait, I lied. Wait, hold on.
They had to have toys at this
small line
point.
of dolls at Target that you could never actually find.
And Super 7 made the Catra She-Ra 2-pack that was 5 points of articulation.
Right.
For 2 figures was $60.
Right. They were never even available in Super 7 stores because Mattel made them limit the production run.
And the Voltron show as well, like there was a toy line that went along with that, which they didn't finish all of the human characters, which still annoys me.
They didn't do the humans.
It still annoys me that we only got 3 out of the 5.
And of course, it's all the guys except for Sven, whichever those. It was. No. In this one, Pidge was a girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Pidge was done, wasn't she? I think she was in Wave 1.
I have to go look. I can't remember.
I know
Which
that Shiro
three it
got a
was.
toy, and his Toy Fair prototype looked amazing, and then the production figure was garbage. And
Yeah.
I don't know how they were so different.
Zaldron, when I'm talking about Thundercats, I wasn't talking about the 2011 version. He probably
He was trolling
probably-
us.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Like I'm talking about the new one that was on Cartoon Network that looks like a Steven Universe
Thundercats
ripoff.
Roar.
Oh my god, that show was
Wait,
good.
that was real?
Yes.
Yeah. You can watch. You can go out and watch it. Oh my god, I watched the
I
first
thought
two
that was some-
episodes.
I love the Martian's face. His face just.
It's so
says it.
bad. It's so bad.
I'm not a
But I
Thundercats
think-
person. I don't care at all, but I thought that was an April Fool's joke.
No.
No, it
No,
for
it
real
turned out
is
to be
they
real.
have the shows like you can watch the whole series like in after we get done with the show. I think it was like what 6
keep
episodes or
confused.
something total like cuz it got canceled, but
Oh,
I don't know. I thought it was.
I hope so.
Who knows? Who cares?
What y'all were saying a while ago about our expectations, I think that's a very valid point. Being older fans, we know this history. We know the way storytelling can be done properly because She-Ra, the new DuckTales, we've seen super high quality storytelling in,
Yeah.
and you got my videos off, but I'm air quoting kids shows.
Yeah.
And we've seen the kind of quality writing. Even if if you disavow us and just shoot for a target audience younger than us, this writing could have been a lot punchier and a lot better to be equivalent to something like the new DuckTales, which we've seen come out and just absolutely be incredible. The one thing I'm going to use as a parallel that I'm going to have to go because I'm getting really tired. Any of y'all Power Rangers fans?
Only
Not
the
really.
original.
Sure,
I'm just a
little
Mighty
bit.
Morphin guy.
Anymore? Okay. The final season of the original run was called Power Rangers RPM.
Okay.
All out, balls to the wall. They took a goofy Sentai
Uh-huh.
and made it into a really solid thing. That's how it originally ended the current run.
Yeah.
It ended on a high note with RPM.
Mhm.
When Saban picked it back up from Disney, and they were going to do Samurai Sentai Shikinger as Power Ranger Samurai, my expectations was we had RPM. We had this phenomenal created universe. I cannot wait to see what they do with a show like Shikinger that was a very solid show. And it was a by the book, almost literal translation of the Sentai series,
Mhm.
and it was so boring. My expectations were above my head, and what I got was down at my feet because my expectations were so high based on what had been done before. And that's where I think you're exactly right. We know what we could be. We know based on our knowledge of the franchise and what we've seen come out from a quality storytelling standpoint, what we could have got.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't it. And I think that's probably why we're disappointed in that what we know we could have gotten better because we've seen better.
Well, I think
And
the other thing is that these shows and this media all has to fit into a larger universe, and so I think that the one thing that you saw where the Roberts like more than meets the eye, where a lot of people love that series and whatnot, but part of the reason is they gave him a ton of throwaway characters and said we don't care what you do with these things, like whatever, and he was
Go have
able
fun.
to just go have fun, and he was able to create some amazing stories because there was no one up above saying you have to do this, you have to do this, Megatron has to act like this, so and so has to do this or whatever. And so like, I think that because of that freedom, and I think that that's kind of like what you see about She-Ra and Voltron and something like that. There's no expectations that She-Ra is going to be a multi-billion-dollar franchise, one day. And if it is,
there are still expectations from corporate. There are still things that clearly corporate said we must do this thing. Like, there must be a Voltron transformation sequence in every episode.
Right.
That was clearly a mandate from above. And with rare exception, it happens in every episode, even if it slows down the story. So there are still things. It's a different level of corporate meddling, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know. It all depends.
Now I will say, at the same time, it's not always necessarily a bad thing. I know that, like, the guys that said that made the toys that made us or whatever, that some of the Netflix guys are like, all right, you need to cut this down, like, into, like, 45-minute episodes, because, like, no one wants to see, like, we would have loved to have seen, like, on the Transformers show, a 3-hour episode, right? But, like, most people clicking on it on that are not going to want to see 3 hours of history of whatever toy line it is. And so I do think that it's not always necessarily a bad thing to get somebody else checking in to say, hey, you should do this, you should do that, or whatever. And I don't know if that even, like, played a part in this show or whatever. I do think part of it too is like we had said, some of the budgetary limitations and whatnot as well.
And there's a problem, is because we're dealing exclusively in CGI Transformers cartoons at this point. There's a limited number of character models you can use. You have to recycle everybody's character model if it must be CGI, and I guess that's very cost effective for them. Probably cheaper than paying an animator studio or whatever. But, like, then how do these other cartoons exist and continue to make money? I mean, I know they're all done in Toon Boom anyway. Nothing's done by hand anymore.
Right.
But there must be some way that cartoons like Steven Universe and Adventure Time and She-Ra and the Infinity Train, these things continue to exist. And CG has not overtaken everything.
Well, I think part of it too is that if you can get someone who has a vision and a story to tell, it's a lot better as well. I mean, I think that you saw that again with the Bumblebee movie, where it was some of the best thing because Travis Knight was a huge fan of Transformers and was able to kind of bring his vision, rather than just the Michael Bay, like, make things blow up and who cares about the story. And so I think that that's part of it as well, is they've been lucky. Like My Little Pony has, the creator that they had, on that they were just incredibly lucky in circumstances to get them. So
sure. I mean, you want to talk about a real standout in the way animation works these days. That show got 9 seasons. Nobody gets that. Nobody gets 9 seasons. Nobody gets to go 9 years and make one continuous story. That is unheard of. Yeah. And yet, it's not Hasbro's biggest brand. It might be their biggest girls brand, but it's not their biggest brand overall. But they're the only brand that has been able to do that level of storytelling, to be that consistent. So it would be nice if we could get a Transformer thing like that. But I don't know that that'll happen.
I think that we all are wanting that, but I don't know.
I don't think that'll be a thing.
John did mention something about Siege that I wanted to make sure we emphasized, is that it felt, the script felt, amateurish, like first draft. And to me, I definitely agree with that. It felt like it was written in an afternoon, and no one ever revisited it to try and make it better.
I feel like the story is mostly there. Like, the story beats, I enjoyed them. I like the plot for the most part. I think most of the problems come out of the direction. The voice direction and just the general direction.
Although, you know what? I think Cog is my new favorite dude.
See, now for me, he was so very generic.
Dude, Cog is the best Transformer of them all. The dude is made of guns and made it past a weapon screen.
Yeah, that was the one thing.
He is the ultimate robot.
That may have been one of the best parts of the show.
That was
so.
funny.
He is guns.
Outside of the elitist stuff.
That was
So-
fun.
Cog wins it for me.
But yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully, what they have coming up next, down the pipe, like I mean, there's gonna be Transformers in general. Like you're gonna see whatever it is gonna be different here in a couple years. We're gonna get some new movies, like whatever the new animated show, like Cyberverse will be done at that point. So we're gonna get whatever the new thing is. So. But yeah, hopefully it'll be good.
I have one more note, and I know that we're like wrapping, but I did want to briefly mention Rescue Bots. I have not watched Rescue Bots, but Rescue Bots has been on consistently for like a long time. I think they got 3 or 4 seasons of their first run, and they've got Academy that's airing now. It seems to be doing well in that regard, and I hope it continues to do well forever. I mean, I think that's a great introduction for kids to get into the brand.
I thought it was done.
Is it done? I have no idea.
No, I think Rescue Bots Academy is still on. I checked because it's actually season 2 of Rescue Bots Academy is actually on right now, Nick.
Okay.
So if you want to set your
I've not seen
VCR,
people seem to like it.
I was watching
It's been going forever.
the first series on Netflix for a little bit.
I
was
actually think the
trying to put that
Rescue
on
Bots
just to
Academy.
see it,
I actually think Rescue Bots Academy is actually a pretty cool show. Like I've watched a few episodes of that with my kids, and I actually kind of prefer it to we were talking about Cyberverse and all that. Yeah, I mean it's that's a fantastic show overall, and I appreciate you calling that out because I think that again the stories for what they are good. The acting is the voice acting is pretty good, and it's. Especially for for the kids it's going after, it's a really good show.
Yeah, it's way outside my scope, but I like that it exists.
What was our favorite Japanese series? Did we come to a consensus on that?
Master Force.
I honestly, it's one of those things where like I will sit and start to watch a Japanese series, and then I'll get 4 episodes in and get distracted by something and forget that I have to read the subtitles.
Yeah.
So it is tough for me to answer this question because I haven't finished one yet.
I haven't
And
even
that's
started
a
any,
failing
so.
on my part.
John put Master Force up there. Peter has told me that he puts Master Force up there.
So there you go. I guess Master Force is the answer, is what it sounds like.
Sorry.
So
I guarantee my answer would be one of the 2 Beast Wars series, either Second or Neo, just because I'll just say it to be different. Fine, whatever.
Do you like mammoths?
I should ask
Plus, I love
Duran. We should ask Duran too, because I'm sure he probably would have a favorite as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what's your favorite, listeners? Drop us a comment and let us know.
yeah, Catherine, have
folks
you
have put
watched
up the top 5
any of
earlier in
those?
the
I don't
chat.
know if you. Yeah. I was gonna mention tomorrow night we are doing Double Dealer, right, on Microcasters.
Yep. Dealer double.
So so check that out. Finally got my leg back on mine, so that's good. Anna actually didn't have any issues on hers, so
And neither did I. I think you just break toys, Lucas.
Well, I didn't look at the instructions, and so that was the part of the issue.
Rookie mistake, man.
Normally,
That's
normally I don't have to do that for Hasbro toys.
Thought
so.
you were too good.
Should I crack open my $50 Pulse purchase, or should I wait and see if Walmart's going to ship me my $30 one?
I'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I was saying about Lucas, it's like that's that kind of situation where you just ditch the instructions and just go watch MGO's Just Transforming series.
Yeah, that's normally what I do.
Yeah.
That's normally what I do, because a lot of times the instructions are kind of trash, trying to get through them. So
Kinda, they are trash.
They print them so small now. I can't even see some of the details
How
sometimes.
do you sound like
Small
old
and
men,
then, like,
though?
what, 2
I've got to get my glasses out to see it.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
So tomorrow night, TF Talk on .net on Facebook. Check us out. We'll be live streaming at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. No Ouch My Wallet this week. There should be a Cut the Tape, though, Friday or Saturday, depending on when Rick sends it. There was the final episode of season 1 of TF Talk News dropped last night as well. So check that out from Mr. Starscream.
Cool.
All right, I got one more question. If we're not done yet, can I ask my one more question?
Fine.
I don't know if anybody's gonna be animation geek enough to answer this.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
But looking towards the future, if you had to put a creative team in charge of a Transformers cartoon, whatever the next iteration of the franchise is, what creative team would you pick? Who would you put in charge of making a top tier Transformers cartoon that we'd all love?
Who made Gurren Lagann?
Oh, see, now that's pretty good. All right, that's a fair answer. Gurren Lagann was Aniplex, Gynax.
Gynax. Well, of course it would be.
So
I
that's
think
interesting.
if people are animation geeky enough to have answers to this question, where could they go to discuss it?
Oh, how about to our Discord?
Hey!
I was talking about your site, man.
Oh, what? No.
Your thing. Not your thing? Okay, go to the Discord then.
So. Somebody in the comments, Zaldron has called out Studio Ghibli, which is an interesting choice. Big Daddy Reviews calls out Studio Trigger. Sounds like everybody wants to see a Transformers anime, is what we're seeing here.
I think it would be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I mean, Robots in Disguise was pretty anime, right?
Look, man, Siege is the most anime I've ever seen. A Netflix original anime.
God.
There you go. If Gynax is a Transformers series, the last episode is just going to be, Cliff Jumper sitting in the corner chanting, "Congratulations" for 15 minutes.
Hey, that means he didn't die. That means Cliff Jumper made it. We'll see.
The entire episode will take place inside Bumblebee's head.
That's Cyberverse. That's the entire Cyberverse show. We can't do that.
So is Cyberverse just Evangelion?
Dude, I wish.
All right.
So much Cyberverse. You cannot watch this show.
Get wrecked.
Do we have anything else we want to mention before we go?
I don't think so. Other than the fact that this toy still sucks.
This just in, 11 years later, this toy still sucks.
Yeah! But no, I don't think
the
it.
cartoon question will probably be one of the guys behind Adventure Time.
Ah.
Maybe Adam. So.
There you go.
Don't give Hasbro any ideas. We're gonna have that frickin' show just like in the style of Steven Universe. Imagine a Transformers show in that art style.
I don't want to. Don't make me.
That's what I'm saying. Now I just gave Hasbro the idea.
Universe is my favoriteest thing ever, and even I know that art style wouldn't work for Transformers. But it is my favorite thing ever.
Don't try to will that into being. I say no.
That's what I said. Don't give Hasbro any ideas.
Don't do it.
Anywho's final thoughts?
That's it for me.
I'm done. I'm tapped.
As we're waiting.
Here's hoping the next two chapters are. Here's hoping that Siege is Star Trek: The Next Generation Season 1, and that the next two chapters are stronger, better, and we will enjoy them more. How about that? Is that fair? Is that fair?
That's nice.
That's fair.
Sounds good to me.
I remain optimistic.
Well, thank you to everyone that participated in the chat. Zaldron, Big Daddy Reviews, Esquire, Catherine, Enots. Did I miss anyone? Yeah, I guess that's pretty much everyone. So thank you for everyone participating in the chat, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Toodles.